Everybody, we are back. It is Hip to Lodge, favorite podcast, favorite channel, favorite everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glen, and of course, pandasubs.com. Discount code TDL for 35% off. I almost said 75% off. That'd be nice, but it's 35% off, guys. So we are here. It's our first odds and bets of the year, man. I'm excited. It's going to be a hopefully it's a fun season, and we get some Raiders wins here. But we're going to start you guys off with the Raiders odds and bets, and of course go over the latest Raiders news and give you all that good Raiders information, man, that we try to do here at the best at Friday Night Live. So we are excited for this season. How you feeling, Glenn? How you feeling, man?
I'm good. I don't know. It's weird. There's just feels like this ominous cloud a little bit here and there, where every time I start getting into it, then like we're gonna talk about it, the Koonce situation. I feel like I've been more positive than most Raider fans, but it does feel like, man, is it going to be one of those years? But I'm still really excited. It's Raider football. I mean, it's just football season in general. Watching the Chiefs game last night with their bureaucratic win over the Ravens, their it takes a village, aka referees and all these things to win for the Chiefs. I still had fun watching football. During that whole time, I was like, you know what? There's a missing piece of me, and it's football. So in the fall, I was born in the fall. I'm an October birthday. I feel like I thrive in the fall, and that's probably because of football. And Raider Nation, let's go.
Yeah, man. I'm a September birthday, so it's our time of year, Glenn. This is our time.
Are we Libras?
Yeah, I think we're both Libras, man.
Libras. I'm cusp. Yeah, back end Libra. Yeah, absolutely.
You're half Scorpio. You're half Scorpio, half Libra.
Yeah, they did. They moved it, right?
You're technically well, you're still a Libra. You're in October.
I think I'm at the end now. I used to be like a firmly in the middle Libra. Yeah.
Yeah,
really entertaining, Raider Nation, I'm sure.
I'm technically a Virgo, but it is what it is. It's just you look at the sky. It's if you follow the girls or you follow science. That's really what it is. So
that's very true.
All right, so guys, but yeah, definitely ready for this Raider season, man. I'm excited for at least to get some action here, man. For week one, we're finally getting some Raiders football that's live, right? And I'm excited about that. I want to see these guys live. I hope they perform better than I think they perform. So I'm excited for that. So I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready for this damn season to start, to be honest. But yeah, so I mean, I guess we'll start with some of the latest news here that is coming out. Malcolm Koonce is not playing. He's not playing. He had and they're not talking about it too much, but you see somebody talk about it's a non-contact injury. I heard something that is a little more serious than it actually is. And I feel like if it was as serious as they're saying that I'm hearing, that it would already be out there. So it's going to be super interesting to see what happens there. But Malcolm Koonce is not going to be playing week one against the Chargers. So it is going to be Tyree Wilson time. It's going to be his time to shine and his time to maybe show what he can do on the football field. And it's going to be really big for him to do that. So, yeah, what are some of your thoughts on that?
It's devastating news. One thing I will say, and I hate to be this guy to kind of, injuries are terrible, but the whole should they have paid Koonce or not, I think we'll see. But if this is as serious as perhaps some of the worst case scenario, then I'm glad that they didn't exactly. This wasn't the first, season with a new deal happening. But also just, man, this was the season for him. So if this was the season for him to really be the household name and the kind of 1-2 punch with Crosby that's among the best in the league. And I'm hoping that it's not. I think no news is good news for a while. The fact that we haven't heard anything for a while now, we could get an update during this show that could be good or bad, and perhaps for content purposes, maybe that's I hope nothing happens. Let's just say that much. I think the less we hear about it, the better. I'm gonna go ahead and assume the worst just to prepare for it. In that case, It's not so much losing Koonce for me for even this game. Let's just say it's for this game only. I'm not saying that that's the worst part of it. It's just who's behind him. And we're talking about the 7th overall pick. You should be in a situation where it's like, well, time for our 7th overall pick to go out there and ball out. And it's just like none of us are really that confident in it. We're more confident in Harris Robinson.
I know.
That's which, hey, go get him, Rob. Like I think he can beat somebody's ass. In pure pass rush situations. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people are already commenting Snowden. I wouldn't mind. I liked Snowden a lot. And I would imagine that would be who they would bring up if we're talking an IR situation for Koonce. Non-contact is like the scariest thing.
Yeah.
Football's a contact sport, but non-contact is the scariest part of football. Weird.
Yeah, non-contact injuries are awful. Yeah, right. I mean, usually, right? But to me, I feel like if it was really that bad, we'd already know.
That's what I mean. No news is good news, right? It's so fast nowadays. It's so fast nowadays. Like Schefter should have already said, like, oh, devastating blow for the Raiders. He's out for the season. And look, maybe that still could happen. I mean, we just don't know. But I'm just hoping it was kind of like either a sprain or like inflammation kind of thing, and they're being very cautious with it. Obviously, they're going to miss him against the Chargers, but I think they still could beat the Chargers without him. It's just that was going to be a big part of it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I just want to let everybody in the comments, we will get to your questions, so ask them. I'm saving them, so ask your questions. We're going to get to your questions for sure while we're talking about stuff. So make sure that you guys keep asking those questions. Don't be scared to ask them. We're gonna be getting to them. So you ain't gotta get mad or anything. I'll leave the show. I just want to let you know we will get to your questions. I'm not gonna miss you. But yeah, it is a tough situation because you're expecting Malcolm Koonce to do a lot, right? To start the year. We don't know how serious it is. But I mean, it is a big moment for Tyree Wilson. I mean, Tyree Wilson really has to take this moment, and do something with it because he's gonna be playing, right? It's not gonna be Janarius Robinson. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
As much as I like J-Rob, I mean, it'll be more like this. If Tyree Wilson doesn't play well this week, and then it continues into next week, that's when we're gonna see more Janarius Robinson. They're gonna give Tyree Wilson every single shot he has because he is what they want him to be. They want him to grow, right? It's just something that you gotta hope for. You gotta hope for that he gets better and he goes out there and he plays damn well. Because if he doesn't, then yeah, we're gonna see Janarius Robinson. Because Janarius Robinson, even though maybe he doesn't play the run the best, and even though he did play the run really well in the preseason, it's gonna be interesting to see where that goes for him if he gets more playing time. How's he gonna look, right? And that's gonna be what's gonna happen with Tyree Wilson. He has a choice, man. You have a guy that's a more veteran that they're not gonna be scared to play. Right? They're not going to be scared to play. And you have to go out there and perform well, or you're not going to be playing a lot, especially if Koonce comes back. If you're out here and you're not playing well and Koonce comes back and, Janarius Robinson's out playing, you're not going to be pplaying that many snaps. Let's keep it real. I don't care what these guys say or what everybody tries to hype up. You're not going to be playing that well. You're not going to be playing that much. I mean, if that happens, it's just not going to be a thing for you. So you have to go out there, perform well, do your thing, get it done, or we're going to be watching Janarius Robinson play. So that's going to be the interesting part of this. We'll see what happens with Tyree, man. But this is a big moment for him, in my opinion. You could play really well and keep Koonce off the field. And like I said, I talked about this in the summer that maybe Wilson plays well enough where you don't have to, let Koonce go, which, maybe I wouldn't be too excited about. But that's a possibility. And here it is. Here's the opportunity for that to happen.
We just have no evidence of that happening. That's just the problem. Like, we really don't. We just have no. And I feel like I'm a little higher. I feel like there's fans that are just straight up out on Tyree Wilson, and I can't blame them. But I do think it's because he played 5 years of college football, and he still looks like he isn't that skilled at football. I think he played at Tech. He wasn't a guy that was a 20-year-old, 21-year-old coming into the NFL. He played a long time, and if anything, you should come into the NFL savvy at that point, and he just doesn't look that savvy. I think we need to find a way to make like a Bobby Boucher situation out of Tyree Wilson, where it's like you need to find a way to find what pisses him off, because he doesn't look like he plays very pissed off. And right now, they really need him, because the defensive line is the only way this team is good, in my opinion. Like, look, you could say, oh, Minshew, it's about Minshew. Is Minshew good? I think it's still more about having a dominant defensive line for the Raiders to be in games. It has to be specifically the front seven and the defensive line. They have to be the disruptive force of this team. And I like Koonce. I feel like I feel like I need to see more out of him,
Mhm.
but I wanted Koonce plus a rotation of guys behind him. I felt fine about that. And with Wilson being thrusted in possibly a starting role, that's it's a little concerning. But hey, go be great. I mean, you're huge. You're huge and strong and physical, and just stop bull rushing all the time. Use your arms. Use your hands. Like you have the gifts. God gave you things that he gave to very few other people.
Yeah, he's humongous. He's one of the biggest humans I've ever seen in my life. I see him twice. I saw him at Raiders camp and I saw him at the combine. He's humongous. I see somebody say that, him versus Slater is hilarious, but that's what he has to do. I mean, this is the NFL, bro. I don't, you're gonna have to face a Rashawn type of Slater type of guy because
Yeah.
Crosby lines up on the other side for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if he wanted to come in the NFL, it'd be great. I mean, that's what he's got to do. I mean, he's got to beat a Rashawn Slater type of player. So if he can't do that, then then that's what I'm saying. That's when we're going to see Janarius Robinson. I'm not saying Janarius Robinson's going to dominate against Rashawn Slater. I'm just saying that going forward, they're going to want to play Janarius Robinson, right? Because not everybody's going to have a Rashawn Slater on the left side. I mean, they got the Ravens next week, and we already saw what that looks like, right? So,
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see a lot of that, man.
Yeah, Lamar has to turn into like Earl Campbell this year. It looks like for the Ravens, but it just seems like to me it just feels like I will say week 1. I feel about the matchup. I actually kind of like Tyree Wilson because I do think Tyree Wilson will be a better run defender than Janarius Robinson week
Yeah.
1. And I think that's what they're going to want to do against the Raiders. There's preseason film of the Raiders kind of getting beat up in the run game. And I actually thought Tyree Wilson set the edge pretty well. Matt showed that in his breakdown as his positives about Tyree Wilson. And so I think week 1, that's going to be good. Even week 2, I think that's actually going to show up well. But the problem is those misdirections, those kind of quarterback keepers, those kind of anything where he has to change direction. It's kind of like, it still just doesn't look good. I'm rooting for the guy so much, and he has so much support, and he has actually, to be honest, a pretty loaded D line around him to where all he has to do is be disruptive and really just make a couple impact plays. And I think we'll all be okay with what he does. And I think we're about a coin flip on that, if I'm being conservative if I'm being optimistic, I should say.
Yeah. Some other injury news. Jackson Powers Johnson's out. So is Cameron Richardson, which is interesting. So they're only playing 4 corners, but Cody Whitehair is going to be starting, which, hopefully he could play well. I mean, I'm not too excited about that, but we want to see what he can do out there. But man, that's gonna be interesting to see what he can do. But you're I mean, they're kind of, I don't know, Jackson Powers Johnson got ill or something. He had an illness. He didn't have a concussion. He got sick. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know what they're doing with him. But man, having Cody Whitehair out there is going to be interesting to see. We'll see. I mean, the Chargers aren't the greatest at the defensive tackle position. Yeah. So if they're not the greatest at the defensive tackle position, then we shouldn't be, too thinking too crazy about it. But still, I'm just not a big fan of him. So I mean, as long as Colt Miller's out there, and I think Dave Mumford's going to be on the right tackle, I think this should be okay. It's just going to be important for them to be able to run the ball. So that's going to be the important part.
And what's the status on Glaze, by the way? I didn't see.
He's fine.
Okay, because I saw somebody post this thing. It was like a really downer thing of the Raiders draft class. They're all hurt, and they put the injury status limited. They kept saying limited. I'm like, what is? Everybody's limited at practice. This is the NFL. It was so weird. Man. But they were like, DJ Glaze limited. I'm like, so what? He's an offensive lineman. Guys get hurt. But yeah, they were like saying it as though like the Raiders just have this like bad luck, and it's I don't know. We'll see. I feel pretty confident about that matchup. I even with Whitehair, I think you can have a weak link on your offensive line if everybody else is doing their thing. And I think it's such a team unit. It's so much of a sum of their parts kind of thing. And I'm just happy that Miller's back. So that should be okay. But yeah, the defensive line one is the one, because I really wanted to wreak havoc on the Chargers at the defensive line, and just not having Koonce is like,
Yeah, that's the tough part. But yeah, I mean, and they're really low at corner, so I don't know. They probably maybe have to bring Devonshire up. So hopefully Devonshire doesn't play though.
Oh yeah, hope not. Yeah,
That'll be a little bit
I'd rather
scary.
have Sam Webb up, to be honest.
Is
No, truly,
I
he's
agree.
he's on the practice squad. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I'd rather bring. I mean, Sam Webb has objectively better film with a Raiders uniform on than FJ Devonshire, and he has more experience too.
Yeah, for sure, man.
That's who I'd like to see activated. Yeah.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. A couple questions. They say Tucker, Jacoby, or Mayer for fantasy. I say Tucker. And we'll talk about that a little bit.
I think. Well, if you're in a PPR, Myers is not terrible in a PPR league. He's pretty good. I don't know if Tucker's going to be a volume guy. We'll see. I mean, this year could say a lot. I think Minshew really likes him. I think O'Connell and Minshew liked him. I think regardless of quarterback choice, they both seem to really like him. We'll see what kind of leap Tucker makes. He definitely is the guy that could make the biggest leap on this team. But I still really like Myers. He has a nose for the end zone, and that not a lot of receivers have. And he has that kind of Crabtree had a pretty excellent Raider tenure, but I think he kind of is the thing that imitates imitation Crabtree.
Yeah.
He kind of does this thing where sometimes he looks like Michael Crabtree out there. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, exactly. Any faith in Tyree? I have faith Tyree against the run against this team because they're gonna run the damn ball. I mean, every guy who's left the team has said that they want to run the ball a lot, so they got rid of me. Daniel Parham said that, or Donald Parham, who was a tight end, he said, I got cut because I can't block.
Right.
Austin Eckler said, which is a running back, which is still weird, that I can't run the ball a lot. So they didn't want me, which, I mean, you're running back, but I guess that's cool. So yeah, Tyree Wilson can make an impact. We'll just see, man. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how this goes. Justin or DJ, I just want what is Greg Roman's record against Patrick Graham? You got to let me know.
I don't know. Yeah, please. I'd like to know.
We got to know that.
Would that have been who would they have been playing would it have been when Graham was with the Giants?
Yeah, and the Ravens. The Ravens versus Giants.
How often did they play?
Well, maybe the Dolphins too.
Yeah, but was Graham DC? Graham was he DC?
Yeah. Yeah, he was that 1 year.
Okay.
That when they
1 year. So 1 year. Okay. I mean, we're not talking like a 5-year period where they win against each other all the time in the division. Okay.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, I mean, remember the first game of Lamar Jackson's MVP season, he threw 5 touchdowns.
So they ran the ball all over basically.
Yeah. And they beat him 53-21 or some shit. And everybody thought the Dolphins were gonna be the worst team in football, but they still won 5 games that year. They did. They still found a way to win 5 games.
All right. I mean, hey, the film's there for the Raiders too. So I mean, and let's be real, they're going to be playing Tyree Wilson. They're going to have a big defensive line. There's going to be some size out there for the Raiders, and the Raiders linebackers supposed to be the lifeblood of this team, according to Antonio Pierce. They have a lot of them. They need to be ready to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's 2-0 and rushed for over 150 yards in each game. Okay.
Yeah. 2-0 though. I mean, we're talking about 2 non-division game. I okay, that's fine. It's reason I thought if we're talking 5-6 games, all right, but I'm not. That doesn't concern me at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, see the thing is Greg Roman's running game is very extensive, right? It is legit. He is a legit run play caller, right? So it's gonna be important for them to be able to stop the run. And this is gonna sound crazy, but you want to make Greg Roman have to call pass plays, right? And I think that's kind of the goal. And if you can't do that, it's gonna be a long day for you. And he has Dobbins and he has Gus Edwards. He literally has the same run game he had from 2022, right? I mean, the line, it might be a little bit better. I mean, with Alt and those guys. So it's going to be super vital for the Raiders to be able to stop the run. And that's why I expect it to, hopefully Tyree Wilson, those guys can come to play. But it's going to be tough if they can't stop the run. You're not going to be able to beat Greg Roman if you do that, because he's just going to keep running the ball down your throat. He runs a lot of power. There's going to be a lot of pulling. There's going to be a lot of these guys getting out the open. It's going to be a mix, a little bit zone here and there, outside zone. So if they can't stop the run and they have some of those problems in preseason that they had, my God, it will get ugly really quick, because Justin Herbert's not going to be able to do anything, right? But you want to get Greg Roman passing, because he literally has 5 pass plays. Seriously,
you want 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, and you want Jack Jones sitting on tendencies. That's what you want.
Yeah.
You want these situations. Look, it's tough. What did we see from the Raiders defensive line in the preseason? We saw them get pushed around up front a little bit. How much were they actually playing? How much of Graham's scheme was being shown during that? I tend to think not a lot. Though it was a little bit concerning.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Now, do you think they're going to activate the nose tackle Laulu from that they took from the Colts? Do you think he's going to, or he's not nose tackle, I'm sorry, the 3 tech.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to play a little bit in this game, in your opinion?
I'm not sure, man. You know what? Because he didn't play that well in the preseason when they picked him up. He looked better in college than he did in the preseason. But they picked him up and they added him to the team. We'll see how that works. But man, I just hope that they're ready to stop the run. Because I don't care if they have Justin Herbert. To be honest, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't care.
And then their receivers too don't really scare me at all.
Yeah, and they're lying about his injury. Let's start there. Let's have a conversation about that. How Jim Harbaugh tried to keep him off the injury report.
That's old school.
That's true Jim Harbaugh shit right there. Just keep them off the injury report. You know what I mean? You don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Like, nah, man. I don't care if he's full practice. He's not going to be able to move like they want him to. So it's going to be tougher for them to kind of pass the ball, especially if they can get some pressure, right? And I see somebody say they don't have DJ Shark either. I mean, they really have nobody to throw to.
Yeah, who's stretching the field for them? That's Josh Palmer can get downfield. He can. I'll give him that. Josh Palmer's kind of a here and there, like you don't want to let him get behind you, but I will sleep 8 solid hours knowing about Josh Palmer. He's not going to keep me up at night. So I see fans talking about it in the chat. There's a script to win, and I think we all agree with the Raiders. Minshew's not throwing too much. Zamir White's eating. Raiders are getting pressure when Herbert's passing. They're getting the Chargers in unfavorable situations on 3rd down, basically 3rd and 5 and longer, and to where they and perhaps they're getting hits on Justin Herbert, and perhaps Justin Herbert's realizing like, my foot doesn't feel that good actually. This sucks,
Yeah.
And you look, let's be real. You can talk about J.K. Dobbins. We're talking about J.K. Dobbins is a salvage title.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it right now. Like that dude's had more injuries than most running backs have in a career. And I loved him coming out of Ohio State. I had him in fantasy the year when he was on the Raiders. Guy was a beast. Guy can run. Guy can run the football. Gus Edwards is a little scary, but more so in short yardage situations.
Yeah. He's not very fast.
He's not. I don't worry about him breaking off, 20, 30-yard game changer, Saquon Barkley style runs. And I know they have another guy, Vidal, I believe, is their other running back. That's a rookie. I want to say is his name. That's their 3 running backs. Their offensive line is a little bit better, but it's also Alt's look, we got to give the Raiders a little bit of credit with the matchup. Alt's first game is going to be against Max Crosby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I'm wearing a Notre Dame shirt right now. Love Joe Alt in the past. Hate him now. This is your first game against Max Crosby. So they got a lot of stuff they should be worried about too.
Yeah. It's not going to be the easiest game for them. Let's keep it real. It's not going to be the easiest game for them on offense. One, they're learning a new offense, right? 2, like I said, if you can stop the run against these guys,
yes,
it's going to be a totally different game for Greg Roman. The Raiders got to get up on them, right? They got to get him in pass first mode because one, to make this offense run, Greg Roman's offense run, he needs a tight end. And they don't have that right now. I saw somebody ask a question about Will Dissly. What I think about him being a blocker. I saw that question here. If Will Dissly goes off, fine. That's cool. I was like, maybe I should have took Hayden Hurst in fantasy after watching Greg Roman all week. Because maybe we got to worry about Hayden Hurst, maybe. But that even sounds crazy. Sounds crazy.
He can make some plays, but again, Greg Roman had Vernon Davis and Mark Andrews when Greg Roman was a money-making offensive coordinator, winning meaningful games. We're talking about 2 of the, I would say, top 20 tight ends of the last decade or so. I don't know. Vernon Davis, a little bit longer, 15 years. But we're talking about 2 of the top 20 tight ends. I would not put Hayden Hurst in the top 20 tight end. I would not put him in that conversation. And also, if Will Dissly's on the field, you know what the play is.
Oh,
So
100%.
you can't really be multiple with Will Dissly. And I think that's kind of the criticism of the Chargers right now is you can do the smash mouth thing. John Gruden, that was his identity in 2018. He just didn't have the personnel to be multiple with. He was able to find Darren Waller, or Greg Olson was able to find Darren Waller on a practice squad that year in a game that they got humiliated in. But it was a game where they were allowed to be kind of multiple and be like, oh, now we have the field stretching tight end. So their roster is very, and Herbert doesn't even fit that identity. That's the crazy part. Like, I don't think Herbert fits the hard-nosed, like 2000 Baltimore Ravens thing that they're trying to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that, man. It's a weird fit, but we'll see. I just think as for the passing game, it's so vanilla and just so ugly. I don't know, man. I don't know. Are we officially concerned about the Raiders dance party videos on social media?
No,
No, man.
This is Gen Z.
Yeah, man.
I just you guys have to understand. Gen Z they're different. They're different
breed of people, man.
What you do is you immediately close the video when you start watching it and just start looking at something else, and then you go, hopefully those guys show up to play.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
should be worried about Dylan Lobby's drug use because he was definitely getting down to some some EDM music.
Sure. He was over there with the camel pack at EDC and the hand cut sleeveless shirt. Look, I might have seen him. You know, it's not a big deal. Like, not a big deal. Shout out, hey, New Hampshire running back. Hey,
you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. You know,
yeah, the Kanye West shutter glasses from the Graduation album. Yeah, come on. No, we know. We seen him. Like, it's okay.
We seen it, man. You know.
Yeah, Julian Edelman, or no, Wes Welker had a very fine career being on stimulants.
Yeah,
had a very fine career. So
yeah, you know what I mean. So maybe be all right. Maybe be all right with Dylan Lobby out there dancing. Thoughts on Will Dissly as a blocker? See, that's the thing. Like, if Will Dissly's on the field and you see Gus Edwards on the field, they're running the ball.
Yeah,
like that's the tell with Greg Roman, right? If those two guys are on the field, they're running the damn football.
And that's where you have John Jenkins, even Nesta, you know what I mean? Like you go bit and you have Crosby. I'm sorry, you cannot run at Max Crosby. Like, that's the thing people just don't realize. I think even some of Raider Nation doesn't understand how good Max Crosby's the best defensive end at the run in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows what he does in the pass game. He is elite. It's the best it might be the best I've ever seen against the run. Like, it's crazy what he does against the run. I mean, we're talking, he does like 80s stuff. Like when you're playing like Walter Payton, like he like is able to, when teams pass like 40 times a game now and Crosby's able to like sniff out runs, you know, and he does it, he's disciplined and stuff. So, and Wilkins is great against the run too. And they have the horses to stop the run. And I actually think they have more of it now. I think Koonce was the weak link against the run on the D line. And I say that with respect because I thought they had a lot of great I think Koonce would be who I would run at if I was a coordinator. So if Tyree's there, this might even actually be for the stopping the run and getting the Chargers in the situation that you want. This having Tyree out there might actually be better. The problem is when you get him in 3rd and 8, I don't want Tyree out there.
No,
that's the problem. J-Rob needs to be out there. Yeah.
Which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. Gainer really at defensive end. Well, I think that might be okay. So that might be a possibility because if they go 5 across, which I think they're going to do for most of the game, Gainer might go out there because he played defensive end in college, so it's not that crazy for him to be standing up and playing on the edge. So that might be a possibility for them. I don't know. But we'll see with that, man. I don't know. He had a pretty good preseason, but I don't know how much he's gonna play. You know, they're weird like that. They love Tommy Eichenberg, but Eichenberg is playing, I believe. So
hey man, people forget about my guy Tommy because we just didn't see him, but like they do love him. They do love him. They said at camp he was playing, like he was hitting and stuff. And there's this type of guy, Robert Spillane. I mean, it's weird. Robert Spillane has turned into a coverage linebacker since he's been in the Raiders, where I liked him a little bit more in coverage than I did against the run. And with those guys, they're gonna have to really, you know, fasten up the chin straps and get after it. And maybe you might see guys might have to come out for a few plays in this game. It's gonna be a physical football game. Guys might have to come out and kind of, ouch, you know, they might have to do that. So you might have to play a couple snaps of Tommy Eichenberg. You might have to play a couple snaps of Amari Gainer. You know, could get interesting.
It could, man. So how many wins does the loss of Koonce cost this year? I don't. I want to see this game. We'll see,
Yeah,
and I can answer
that's
that question.
tough. A defensive end is tough. Like I don't know if anybody watched Hard Knocks where they were talking about when Ryan Poles was trying to make a trade for Matthew Judon for the Bears, and he was going over like WAR, which I don't even know is that exact, to be honest. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of a estimate more than it is a science.
Uh-huh.
But again, it's kind of your girls in science comment, but football.
Yeah.
But even then, like the WAR, Montez Sweat had a pretty high WAR, and they had just traded for him. And we're talking about a pretty damn good defensive end in the league, and his was like I think like around 2. I don't know if Koonce is quite there yet.
Yeah.
He absolutely could have the season where he could be in that category, but I wouldn't say that it's a season ender if it is a season ending injury, right? If it's the worst case scenario, I don't think I start looking at mock drafts because Malcolm Koonce is hurt. That's just me.
Yeah. Especially if he has a chance to come back, right?
Yeah. And right now,
hearing 2 or 4 weeks.
the less we hear, the more likely I think he has a chance to come back.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I really expect for him to come back, and at least, I mean, especially because, like I said, if it was that bad, we would already know. We would already know. He would have been. It would have been came out quick. I mean, they do these tests on these things. You can't really hide that at this point of this year.
Oh, right.
You can't hide it. I mean, just saying, Jim Harbaugh tried to hide. I saw somebody say Justin Herbert said he didn't have plantar fasciitis, but are you sure, Justin? I feel like it's like a plan that you and Jim Harbaugh came out with, but that you guys tried to hide. But you got a foot injury somewhere, bro. Like, stop lying to us. We'll see how that goes. Do you think they have a plan for Munford versus Mac? I hope they do.
Because Mac loves a dang silver and black revenge game, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yes, he fucking does. Tired of that, man. I'm tired of him. How does Jacobs look tonight? I think he had like 9 carries for like 10 yards or some shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate to do the like former player, let's drag him and stuff. I've had my issues with Josh Jacobs. I've always found it to be, I've always found him to just be really, he called fans wishy-washy and all that stuff. And I always thought he just never felt like, oh, I don't have a home here. It's like, dude, you were like the unquestioned bell cow of a team. And were they the best team? No, but they gave you every opportunity to be great. And I don't wish him ill will with the Packers. He's in the NFC. It doesn't really matter to me, but I will say he's had a lot of carries. He's had a lot of carries, and I can't see him becoming more explosive. And that was my case for not paying Josh Jacobs, which a lot of people didn't seem to like when I talked about this months ago. But I said, name the long explosive runs that he had, like the long one where it's just like, whoa, that just changed the absolute game. What Jacobs is kind of like the chain mover, the kind of like, oh man, we're eating this team alive. 5 yards, 8 yards, 9 yards. Like that's what Jacobs does out of the backfield, a couple 20-yard runs. But like that, he had that one big one against the Seahawks for the game winner and the big one against the Chiefs. And those are the 2 massive long runs. And you pay guys who do that, not the guys who move the chains. That's just 100%. How it works.
100%. All right. So last question, and then we'll start to get to these over-unders here. If the Chargers depth looks way better this year with the coaching change, does that vindicate Telesco's drafting? Was the depth issue for the Chargers really a coaching issue? Lots of TT players left. With Tom Telesco, I do question his depth a little bit. And just because if you look at this team, right? I mean, we see some of these guys going down early already, right? I was talking about this all year, right? Off season, that I mean, they need a little bit more depth. I mean, they're cool at the offensive line, but then you got Decameron Richardson already out, right? So now you got 4 corners.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they're about to play some tackle football.
Yeah.
So they got to bring up somebody, right? They got to bring up some guys from the practice squad. We'll see what they do, whether it's Sam Webb or whether it's MJ Devonshire, which I think it will be Sam Webb. Let's keep it real. Well, kind of hope it will be Sam Webb.
It should
play, right? But we'll see how that goes with that. but it is a little bit concerning with his depth. So you kind of feel it a little bit on this team, but we'll see what the Chargers do. The Chargers are gonna be Jim Harbaugh's team, and this is Harbaugh's team. I don't care who their GM is. This is Jim Harbaugh's damn team. That's why they're cutting Donald Parham and Austin Eckler and bringing in Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. This is his team, right? And I'm kind of in shock that they didn't draft the tight end really high, because their offense is missing that. But it's Jim Harbaugh's team. I'm not gonna be too trippy about that, man, or worry about that. But
with Telesco, to be honest, I thought he did. To me, DJ Glaze was the pick I didn't like at all when it happened, and he looks like he's going to be a part of this team for a while. So it's pretty tough for me to look at the draft, and I think everybody wanted a quarter. It's a weird thing. At the beginning, everybody wanted a quarterback, so they're judging him off not getting a quarterback, though there was not one available in the first round. And who knows? I think the depth thing is an issue. Somebody was talking about the injury stuff. They had a trainer the Chargers almost killed Tyrod Taylor. So when we're talking about injuries over there, I think that is a systemic issue with the Chargers. It's very strange with the stuff they had happening there. And now with Telesco, yeah, the depth is going to be the problem. But I trust him a lot in the first round. I think, look, he had, I think, was it Melvin Gordon and maybe... Did he draft Melvin? He did draft Melvin Gordon. And the other, Quentin Johnston, this recent guy. We'll see with Quentin Johnson. I'm not going to speak too well because if he cooks the Raiders, I'll be eating my words. But for the most part, like, those seem to be his two big misses. But he had Slater, Derwin James, Bosa. He seems to have gotten it right for the most part in the first round. And to me, that's the complete opposite of what was with Mike Mayock and sometimes Reggie McKenzie, right? Reggie McKenzie would get a guy who'd play in the league for 10 years, but which just wasn't really an impact player in the first round, unless it was a Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper, top 5 pick. But you got to hit your first rounders. You just have to hit your first rounders. I feel confident with Telesco hitting the first rounders. I just want to see him get more aggressive with money. That's my thing. I thought the Chargers got bad contracts. I thought that was like overspending. So when I see that there's 34 million sitting there and I see 4 corners playing, I'm like, what's happening? That's the problem. It's not drafting to me. It's you have an opportunity to add a good player on this team. There were plenty of opportunities to add good players to this team as depth, and that wasn't happening.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right.
Bowers. Sorry, did you see that Bowers question? I found it quite interesting. Bowers and Diane Henley.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I saved that one. I got that one.
Maybe we get to that before we get to our odds.
Is Bowers versus Henley a matchup of thing? Seems like a logical cover for Henley. So, it depends on how much Brock Bowers is going to line up at tight. I think they're going to play Michael Mayer a lot. I still think that.
Me too.
I'm not gonna back off from that yet. I think Mike Mayer's going to play a lot of snaps. I think they're going to play like around just as much. It's going to be pretty even because they're going to be on the field at the same time. Because I think Bowers is going to play more fullback than we're ready for. Just watching from the preseason, but who knows what their exact game plan is. This is week 1. I don't know exactly what Luke Getsy is going to do. I don't know how Luke Getsy is going to attack the Chargers. Patrick Graham talked about that. He doesn't know exactly what Greg Roman's going to do, even though I can kind of feel like because he's the same guy. But so I think you have a feeling, but you're just saying that. But that's what's going to be the interesting part is see how they use Brock Bowers, because I don't know how much you're going to get that linebacker lined up on him, but. And I know Henley was a good cover guy coming out of Washington State, but we'll see how much that kind of translates to the being great in the NFL. He had a pretty decent rookie season, I believe, but we'll see how good he is overall. He probably might still have some issues with Brock Bowers.
Also, just the fact that Brock Bowers, that's the thing. I feel like the entire media. I even think a lot of Raider fans, there's 2 players that are kind of getting ignored by the fan base and all of this because there's so much quarterback or nothing in the media. And I feel like there's not really any kind of diversity in media right now covering the NFL. Everybody seems to have the same take when you watch like either Mina Kimes podcast or anything. Everybody seems to have the same kind of take about everything. It's, well, this team doesn't have they don't have CJ Stroud, therefore they're not going to win the Super Bowl, or they don't have, it just seems like that's the conclusion everyone comes to, even though we have all sorts of different kinds of people from all different walks of life talking about football. It all seems like kind of the same takes that happen. The Raiders have Christian Wilkins and Brock Bowers, and I never hear them mentioned from like anybody outside of the Raiders. And there are people that go, damn, I forgot we had Christian Wilkins, Raider fans. And then with Brock Bowers, the same thing. Brock Bowers felt like this. We didn't get a quarterback, so we had to draft this loser. That's like how like a lot of people talk about it.
It is true.
It's so true. No, Brock Bowers is good, and I expect him to be good right away. I know you guys had your film breakdown at fullback. I hope they don't try the fullback thing too much. Put him in the slot. That's my thing. Put him in the dang slot. I want Adams in the slot, and I want Bowers in the slot rotation, and I want whoever's in the slot guarding to go, shit, I got both these guys.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's how I think the Raiders can steal yards. If you watch what the Chiefs did, I know they have Mahomes. People shut down with quarterback. It's so weird how the NFL is with quarterbacks. I know you run a quarterback podcast, but they do this thing where they act like you can't get yards somehow unless you have Patrick Mahomes. It's so weird.
Or Lamar Jackson or whatever.
Yeah, any of these things. Rashee Rice had free yards last night, if you watch that. And I think you can do that with Bowers. I think you can do that with Adams out of the slot. And these are things I want to see them do. And I think Derwin James is going to get some looks on Brock Bowers. I think the league understands what Brock Bowers is. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, man. You're right. The league is so hype about quarterbacks that because they're talented, but they aren't really great quarterbacks. That's what I would say. There's a lot of quarterback talent.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not great NFL quarterbacks. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. I always say that because that's what people get excited about. This is the most NFL quarterback talent we ever seen, but talent doesn't mean you can play NFL quarterback. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion.
And there's also rules that you can't do anything to receivers right now. So it's also like the middle. People get mad at the old school quarterbacks, But I was watching the old Ravens, 2000 Ravens, 30 for 30, where they had the like panel, and Trent Dilfer, never an elite quarterback, but he was just like, yeah, I mean, the middle of the field's wide open nowadays. Like these guys don't have to fear it the way that it is. And I get that, which does inflate a lot of things, and people watch these things in 10-second clips. Yeah. But I feel like it's weird. The media has more access to all 22, all of these things, and they still come down to, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't win.
Yeah.
Yes, that's probably true, but it's more nuanced than that. You can still be creative. It's like, I feel like Minshew can still make some big plays. I still think these things can happen. I think the Raiders do actually have a really nice pass catching group that has speed, explosiveness. And Brock, they talk about like, oh, it's Myers and Adams, and oh, is Adams going to want to trade and stuff? It's like, if Brock Bowers is eating and then you realize like, I can't leave the middle of the field wide open. What does that do for Adams? None of these things get talked about. It's just man. They have the Raiders starting Gardner Minshew, and they want to run the football. Ha 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 ha! Old school football. Ha 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 ha! Anyways, we love the Chargers.
Yeah.
Who want to do the exact same thing with no receivers? Yeah.
All right. I did get to your Amari Grainer question, Renee. That's why I said you can't leave, man. You can't leave. I got you.
Can't leave.
You can't leave,
dude. This is the only podcast that will ever answer that, by the way. So why would you leave? Are you gonna go somewhere else?
You can't leave, bro. Yeah. I answered that because you can't leave. You got to be patient. Just got to have some patience. All right. So
let's talk some.
Let's get to these. Let's get to this over. This is what we do.
Let's make some money.
This is what the show started. This is what we started the show for, right?
Yes.
We did all this shit. These Raiders, fake ass first take shit we did the whole off season. This is what the show's about: gambling. So let's get to it, guys. We're gonna start with our over-unders. I hope you guys make some money. That's what we want to do. That's what we did. I just want to say we did pretty damn well on college football last week. You did pretty damn well, Glenn, on college football.
We did.
The only one we missed was your Notre Dame.
No, we met. Well, I had LSU, I think.
Okay.
I did have LSU.
I might have. I don't remember.
I think we both had LSU, actually.
Okay.
I think we did. Now, you did. You picked my Irish. However, I had the under in that game, which was a lock. A lock. That was a 1954 football game. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to the Irish. That was a huge win, by the way.
Huge win. Yeah, Saquon Barkley has 3 touchdowns.
I'm going against him in 2 leagues, dude. I thought they had, man.
He only has 40. I mean, the 3 touchdowns. He only has 44 yards, though.
Yeah, I know.
You might be all right. I
have AJ Brown against him, who had a huge touchdown. So
yeah,
and I have Reed in 2 leagues, and Jaden Reed, best kept secret in football, by the way. That guy's just unbelievable. So
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's start with Gardner Minshew over unders. Let's get it, man. Gardner Minshew over unders. We got pass yards. We got 216 yards. We got pass touchdowns 1.5. All right, and we got pass attempts 31.5, pass completions 20.5. So Glenn, what are some of your thoughts on these over unders to kind of just start off this show here?
Conservatively, I will say I like the under on his pass yards. I want the under to hit because I want the Raiders to be winning and running the football. Passing touchdowns, I'm actually it's weird. I feel there's a way for him to be under his pass yards and over on his pass touchdowns. Like I could see him having like 195 yards and 2 touchdowns. I could just see that. Pass attempts, hopefully under. I hope we're under 31 and a half.
Me too. Right.
Pass completions, I like the under on that as well. I really don't want this game to rest on Gardner Minshew going crazy. Though it's weird. He has games where he just like is Brett Favre. He does have games like that. So the problem is it's really hard to bet on Gardner Minshew. I saw Florida boy, is that his name? In the thing, he said he has 8 yards rushing on Minshew. Hammer that.
Hammer that, right?
Hammer that. That man will get that on one play.
One play, yeah, or at least 2. He as I'm saying, he doesn't have like the dynamic runs.
But he can get you. He can get you a first down, like a 2nd and 9 first down. You know.
Exactly.
He can get you one. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Because that's good all game. You have that ticket all game. That's that you can't rip that ticket up till the end of the game because
8 yards. I didn't even look as much yards as I should have, but
that's
8 yards
incredible.
is crazy.
Yeah, no, that's the play of Minshew right there. To me, that is the I want to make some money. It's week 1. I want to start strong. I like that. Florida boy, are you lying to us? I hope that you're not, because that's a great prop.
Yeah, that is a great prop, man. Yeah, so pass yards, I'm gonna differ from everybody. I think he's gonna go over that. Okay. I think he's gonna go over pass yards, but have less attempts. I think they're gonna have some big plays in this game, and I think he's gonna hit the over. It's not gonna be too much over. I'm not saying it's gonna be like, I'm hoping for like a 19 for like 26 for 240 yards. I'm not gonna go crazy here and hoping for that, but I think with the play action. And we talk about Trey Tucker a little bit. We'll talk about him a little bit later. I think he can hit the over just based on like a YPA type of thing in this game, because I think that, the Chargers, they're doing a new defense too. I know it's gonna be similar to what Brandon Staley does a little bit, kind of that type of thing. These guys are Fangio, kind of clones a little bit too as well. Jesse Minter kind of does what Michael McDonald does, which was a little bit of a Fangio clone too, a little bit too. But he's not the play caller that Mike McDonald is as well. So, and this could be his first time calling defensive plays in the NFL, and like the hashes aren't the same. It's going to be different for him, right? So I think from like a Trey Tucker perspective, I'm gonna hit that over. I'm gonna be under on the touchdowns, and I'm hoping I'm with you. I'm hoping he's under on the attempts, and I'm even, like I said, I want a 19 for 26. That's what I want. I want a 19 for 26.
Oh, that means we won
for 240. That's what I want. That'd be the perfect type of game for him. Just don't put too much on him. Because if we get to 31 attempts, I don't want to look this up. I don't know how many games he's won when he hit 31 attempts.
Oh boy,
somebody look that up. I don't know.
He probably has a couple. I know he has a couple like heroic like games where that's the reason Minshew has like a following and kind of a hive. He's had some games for sure. I bet you they're against the Raiders. I bet you they're against the Raiders. Honestly,
I bet they are.
That last game in Oakland, which I still hate so much, but where they were throwing chairs at him from the stadium, that he might have gone over on that.
Yeah, man, it's just that's what I kind of want to stay away from that. But I do think this is week 1. I think the Chargers don't know what we're gonna do. We don't know what they're gonna do. but I think that there might be a chance he hits I'm going to take the over. I'm not going to say that he's, like I said, I'm not going to say he's going to throw for 300 yards, which he did do like 4 times last year. Keep it real. He did throw 300 yards like 4 times last year. So some of them were like in some losses and stuff like that, but it happened. So like it's not nothing crazy for him to do that. So I think that there might be a chance for that to happen a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see how that ends up going. But I kind of want to take the over on the pass yards. I'm gonna take the under on the passing touchdowns, though. See, that sounds crazy, but I'm gonna take the under on the passing touchdowns. But I'm gonna take the over on the passing yards with Gardner Minshew for this game. So that's what I'm sticking with that, man. Because to be honest, like I don't expect too much from him, and I really don't have this kind of like high expectations. I'm not the biggest fan of watching him on film. That's kind of my thing. I understand that it's scrappy and he can get it done. It just annoys me to watch on film. So like this is a film channel, right? So this is a film channel. So that's why you hear some of my frustrations with them, because it's just annoying to watch, right? I like watching quarterbacks who just like process the field correctly and do those things. I'm a little bit old school with it, a little bit there. So I just don't like watching him on film, but on broadcast and on TV, it's fine. Like it's totally different experience. So hopefully we get a better experience there with him. And that's just a little bit of my issue with him. It's just kind of like this, when you go watch the film, it looks totally different than it does when you watch it on TV. So, but I think he can at least get, if they can run the ball, right? If they can run the ball, it's going to be kind of a little bit, issue. So my man Raider Barry, he came with it, man. He looked up. He's 5-11 with 30+ attempts.
All right, Barry, shout out.
Oof.
Yeah. So let's.
So that tells us everything we need to know. If he hits 31 attempts, if he hits the over on this game, we might lose.
That's what I mean. And I had a feeling. This feels like the Jimmy G overs from last year. I mean, I think he's a better quarterback. I do believe he's a better quarterback than Jimmy G.
I do too. I do.
I think he's better than Jimmy G.
I
am not comparing the two. I just feel like game script wise, they are the same guy in a sense that the less they throw, the better. Couple big plays might happen. I think he can make a lot bigger plays than Jimmy G. Like there can be way bigger plays than Jimmy G. Like Jimmy G had trouble hitting a lot of big plays. That was his problem. I just think, again, if you're dropping back and it's constantly like Minshew drops back, and if that's the game script, I don't know if I love that.
Yeah. So I mean, there's our stat. We're gonna keep up with this. This is a stat for week 1. He's 5-11 with 30+ attempts. We're gonna keep up with the stat if it keeps going, because if you throw 30 attempts and they lose, we know he's 5-12 now, right?
What if he just has a Rich Gannon? What if he just has a Rich Gannon year and like he's just like, oh, actually, this guy's the MVP.
Let's keep it real. This is his shot, bro. Like he has no other shot.
It is. No, there's literally one chance. It's Lose Yourself. Eminem, the guitar riff is playing in his head right now. I mean, it's probably like a Grateful Dead. It's probably a Grateful Dead riff, but we'll just say it's Eminem. Lose Yourself. Like if that happens,
it might be some Leonard Skinner, bro. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, exactly. Like no, you might a little fish. Like he's got something like that. If that happens, he's got it. It is his time. Like it is his time to do it. I do like the fact that he probably will never be a starter again if this doesn't go well. I do like that. Those are the stakes for Minshew, because you start getting into year 6, year 7 as quarterbacks, and you haven't won anything, and he's never actually been handed the keys before. He's never actually been handed the keys from training. Well, not really from training camp, but from week 1 to the end of the season. Maybe there's something. He has to go out there and play. Now, I hope he doesn't go out there and think that the way he gets the job is by throwing and making the huge play down the field all the time. I hope he runs the offense.
Yeah.
So he really is an enigma. It's tough to gamble on him week 1.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get to some of these questions, and then we'll get to our next player is Zamir White. Who's the receiver one for the Chargers? Is it really?
I think so.
I feel bad for Justin.
Is it Lad McConkey week 1? I don't know. I don't think so.
Is it? Maybe it is.
Maybe it is, but like again, I'll do my best to bully him off the line. Like I put Nate Hobbs on him and just, you know what, like young man, Nate Hobbs will have a black and mild out of his mouth. You know what I'm saying? Just push him around. Remember that old LeBron James thing that old LeBron James meme where he's like the car mechanic? That's how I have Nate Hobbs just beating his ass the whole time. Like Josh Palmer's the veteran. I think they're going to lean on him. Quentin Johnson, they swear he's good in camp, but I don't think he's good. So whatever. But it's Josh Palmer. I think Josh Palmer is like the number one, and probably Hayden Hurst. I think Hayden Hurst is going to get a lot of looks.
Yeah, that's who I think is going to get more looks than we think, because his offense doesn't run without a tight end. It doesn't. Literally, like Charles Clay had like 10 touchdowns one year with the Bills.
Charles Clay.
Charles Clay.
That's a name I haven't heard in years.
Yeah. This is also Greg Roman's second white quarterback, which is
yeah, that is interesting. Alex Smith. Shout out. Alex Smith was a baller under Greg Roman, though. I will say
he was a
baller. So and I will say Herbert is better than Alex Smith. So you never know.
Yeah. Media's Broncos hype train. Yeah.
No.
They have literally. We went over the roster last week. They literally have
a covered wagon. Rosters. That's not a hype train. It's a covered wagon pulled by horses, and they will be scalped. It's going to be terrible. The Broncos suck.
Yeah. Oh, correction. Brady Berry 8-17, which isn't any better, but that's fine.
No, yeah, you just kind of, it's a fraction where you just kind of
you just ruined it more.
Extrapolated it, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Which QBs to look out for on Saturday?
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
This is a huge game for him. We're going to talk about it a little bit, but he's playing Michigan. This is Quinn Ewers could become a first round pick tomorrow. Yeah. Like he can. Quinn Ewers, really, he's not. I don't think he's gonna be in the draft this year. But that Tennessee kid, he's a little scary. He's good. I know Tennessee's system is not the most quarterback kind of to the NFL thing. This kid's massive and bad. I can't remember his name, but he plays NC State. Those are the big ones. I mean, to really look out for this Saturday. But yeah, Quinn Ewers. I mean, I liked him last year, but he just didn't have the year that I wanted him to have.
Yeah,
he would have came out if so. But this year he has a chance to really rise up. I think it's going to be between him, Cam Ward, and a few other guys to really get that like top pick. Carson Beck, like those three guys, I think have a chance. Now, if Quinn Ewers lays an egg, then I think we're going to know what Quinn Ewers is, because he's been in college for a long time, and he's got Archie Manning behind him.
Yeah, man. Of course, I mean, I really like Cam Ward a lot, but Ward's playing Florida A&M, so
exactly. That's what I mean. It's tomorrow. I don't know that Cam Ward matters unless
if he plays bad, then we're worried, right?
Exactly. And I do like Cam Ward a lot. Yeah. So yeah.
Just let the tribe know it's 8-17 now. So we'll I don't know who's catching the ball when it was 8-17, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I mean, agreed. Again, this is his best supporting cast as far as pass catchers he's ever had. So.
Yeah, it is. It's just true. All right, so let's move on. Let's get to Zamir White, which I think these numbers are crazy. I don't know if you've seen these, Glenn. These numbers are nuts.
Okay.
All right, are you ready for this? Okay, so his rush yards is 55.
Okay.
Which I think is crazy.
His
rush plus receptions is 70.5.
Mm-hmm.
Is anytime touchdowns plus 170, is 100 plus yards is plus 750. I put that there because right, that 100 plus yards just looks really nice. I feel like it's just right there. It's just right there for the taking, man.
So if you're a bettor and you're one of the way I bet, and this is not the way the sharps tell you to bet, but I bet off vibes, so this is the way I go. If you're a person who likes to craft your experience, like you want to bet a couple things that all follow the same path. If you're betting Raiders money line tomorrow, which, we'll see. If you're betting Raiders money line for Sunday, I should say, if you're betting that, you would bet Zamir White plus 100 yards. Like that's how they win that game. So if you see the Raiders winning a game, you got to bet the reason they're going to win it. And it's because Zamir White is eating. And I love the over on the 55.5. I mean, I might take it myself. Rush and receiving 70.5. I'm not quite the Zamir White receiving guy, but I think he might go over on rushing in that. Like he might even just have like 78 yards rushing, like
Yeah.
and be over that. So, but I need to see a little bit more of him in the pass game. Anytime touchdown's a great bet too. Zamir White, this team, Antonio Pierce said it in his press conference. It's going to be first and second down. You're going to see a lot of 3. That's just what you're going to see. He's the guy. So if you're talking about just the most opportunities to go over, he's going to get those. Now, if the Chargers decide they're going to just swarm him, they're going to pack 8 in the box. Well, you have Devonte Adams, Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers, and Brock Bowers, and Michael Mayer to deal with. So maybe maybe they sell out on that and then they win another way. But Zamir White's the guy that's probably gonna win the game offensively for the Raiders. Down to down.
So I'm just looking at Zamir White's stats here from last year. He didn't have under 55 yards in any of his starts.
Yeah, no,
not one.
Like that Chiefs defense, which I'm sorry, they did pretty well about keeping Derrick Henry off the field. That's the same defense, more or less. And Zamir White 8 against them. And you and I had talks about Zamir White where we're like, man, I just don't see it early in his career. He's kind of like Jordan Love, the running back, where it's like you watch early Jordan Love and you're like, oh my God, does this guy know how to play football? And then all of a sudden a switch gets flipped. And I'm riding it. I mean, he's big, strong, and fast. He falls forward, which I think is a big thing. Guys that fall forward gain yards. I bet on those guys. And he falls forward because it's tough to knock him backwards. He's big as hell.
Yeah, this is crazy because he's never had under 70 yards rushing and receiving either in his 4 starts. So this is all crazy to me. I'm hitting, if you want to do rushing and receiving, I would do that because I think he's going to get some checkdowns. The rushing yards, hell yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay.
Because, even if you think about the Chargers, and we talk about their linebackers and stuff, the linebackers they're slight. Henley, they talk about Henley. He's like
slim, 230.
He might be less than that, bro. Right? He's slim. And that's be the Raiders' mentality is going to be running the football. So I expect him to have at least 18 carries, right? And if he's at 18 and 55, the Raiders are not winning, right? So I really expect him to hit the over 55 yards, 55.5. That's going to be an easy over. If you're doing that, man, take that one. I also take the anytime touchdown, easy. But the 100+ yards is the interesting one to me. Because, if you think the Raiders are going to win this game, I think he's going to have a game like that. Not even like a game like that. I would say just like where he's close to that, where he's going to be around like 85 yards, right? 85 to 90 yards. He's got to be close in that position for that to happen. And that's why I think, you might, if you're a betting guy, you might want to take that plus 750, right? And just hit that bet because there's a good chance he hits over 100. But hell yeah, he's hitting over that 55.5. I don't even know where they get that from. Like, what are they? Like, there's no. He's literally had 4 starts and he's had 70 yards at least in all of them.
Yeah, and I guess Madison's a bit more of a known name now. Is he a great name? No, but he's more of a known name, and maybe some people think Madison gets involved and eats into Zamir White's carries, but I just don't think I don't think there's any reason to suspect that if you've been following the Raiders in the offseason. Like, they are featuring him, Zamir White. So it's his team. And this is what you do. This is why you don't pay Josh Jacobs, because you look, we've 2 years of Zamir White. Yes, we're changing the system a little bit, and Luke Getsey's going to want to run the football, I think. And especially with Gardner Minshew at quarterback, he's going to want to run the football. Gardner Minshew looked his best when he had Jonathan Taylor. So is Zamir White Jonathan Taylor? We're going to find out. I think he absolutely could be. But
that'd be a huge year, bro.
No, but he could. I mean, his range of outcomes could be out of the league bad or Jonathan Taylor good. No, true. Yeah. Like, that is
I agree with you.
Outcome.
I agree with you, bro.
It's weird to think, but I think they're going to give him the opportunity to prove that.
He was good at the end of the year, bro.
Very.
Right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. He was good. He was consistent,
and he got bigger. He got bigger. He it looked like he put on a little weight. I mean, he has a frame that you can just, like, Steven Jackson is what he reminds me of a little bit. Like, he is big.
Yeah, man. All right, I don't see too many questions here, so we're gonna get to this next guy. We'll move to the tight end. We're gonna move to the tight end. I didn't do Michael Mayer this week. I did Brock Bowers. So we got Brock Bowers over unders. He's not questionable, so he is playing this game. So we got receptions 3.5, receiving yards 34.5, anytime touchdown plus 370. So what are your thoughts on this one, Glenn?
3.5's a low number, and I think they're going to want to establish Brock Bowers. I will say, in fantasy leagues that I've been in, Bowers got drafted in all of them, and I was in leagues where I was the only Raider fan still, and I don't have him on any of my leagues.
Yeah.
I still think Mayer is a red zone merchant, and I think Mayer's gonna absolutely eat. Now, that being said, I think Bowers is gonna actually get his thrills from other positions, like a slot, fullback. They might hand him the ball. Don't rule that out, by the way. They might hand Brock Bowers the ball. That might ruin our Zamir White prop of anytime touchdown, by the way.
It might.
But this guy was a first round pick, a top 15 pick. They're gonna feature him. And they have put the cover on him like a classic car in a garage. They've done that. Like anytime Brock Bowers says, "Man, I slept on my neck wrong," shut him down. They've done that.
Yeah.
They love this guy. I will say I'm not going to take the receptions because I think receptions is tricky. I'm not going to take that.
Okay.
I'm not even going to take receiving yards.
Okay.
I think he gets his first career touchdown.
Oh, you're going for the touchdown, huh?
Yeah, I am. I do.
Okay.
I think he gets a touchdown. I think he gets a touchdown. I think he leaks out of the flat from the fullback position. He leaks out when they're like at the 4-yard line, and he leaks out, and I think he gets a touchdown.
See, I'm going to take the over on the receptions. I just think there's going to be some dump offs to him, some easy completions, some like those fullback completions. Some of the stuff he got in the preseason, right?
Use check. You think that he's going to be like a use check kind of guy?
Yeah. So I think they're going to do like some play action bootleg. They're going to get him the ball, maybe get him a ball like out in the flat or something like that. There's going to be some easy completions for him, right? So that's why I think he gets over the over reception yards. I think he might be a little bit under. So I would go like 5 for like 33 or something like that, because I feel like there's going to be not really like throwing the ball to him downfield, but it might happen, man. And so, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if anybody did that, if they got, it took the both overs, it's tempting to do, cause it's just there, right, for them to do it. But I do think he's going to have more than 3.5 receptions. I have a feeling that they're going to do a lot of dump offs. They're going to be just kind of giving him the ball, right, and kind of just forcing it to him a little bit, getting him some touches in the open field. And that's why he might get over the 34.5, because if you get a touch in the open field and he just starts going everywhere, right, and he gets a long run, and there it is, right?
Yeah.
So somebody said I wouldn't trust Minshew to make a. I really hope he can hit a flat route. I just hope he can.
Again, if he can't, then we're mock drafting this whole Friday night. So we'll know early.
We'll know real early, right, man? We'll know really early. So yeah, if he can't hit these short flat routes, we're gonna see Aiden O'Connell. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So right, you're gonna know early. I don't think Antonio Pierce is going to want to be a tank guy. I think he's going to be like, I need a quarterback that can hit this pass. And again, I'm ready for Minshew. Let's go. Like Minshew mania. Let's rock. I don't want them to switch to O'Connell. Like I want Gardner Minshew to go out there and run this offense and make big plays. I just think Bowers week 1, I think NFL teams are scared of him. I think there's just been this kind of radio silence on him in terms of media coverage, because now if he was on the Jets, I think everybody would think he was crazy, or the Niners, or like any of these teams, or if the Chiefs got him or something, like people would be like, I cannot believe they got this guy. But with the Raiders, everybody's just like, they're cursed with having him. When I think he's just a damn good football player. And I think I like his anytime touchdown. I think he sneaks in the end zone. I think he does. I think him and Zamir White get a touchdown in this game.
Yeah, somebody said that he won't have 6 yards of catch. I mean, he might not, but he's still a tight end. So I mean, there's those they're gonna give him those dump offs, and it'll be on him to get the yak at this point, right?
Which I'm sorry, he can. Like that's what he does. He is. I mean, he's shifty. He moves different. Like he does move different than a lot of people.
Yeah. So Brock scores his first touchdown on Spider. I mean, it's a possibility. John Gruden does have a podcast.
Gruden might break the drywall, dude, in the house if that happens.
We're gonna see a breakdown from Gruden on his Luke podcast if he does that shit.
I'm so pumped that he has one, by the way. I'm so pumped. I will listen to everything he does.
All right. So Rambo says 6 catches, 63 yards, 1 touchdown. He's taking everything. He's saying Bowers is going to go off.
So we're gonna beat the Chargers 42-10. Sounds good.
I like it, man. I like it, Rambo. I like it.
No, look. When you're betting, it's not that you think everything's gonna happen; is you think a couple things might happen, right?
Yeah.
And you're hoping that the money you sprinkle, right? You're more confident in certain things.
Yeah.
You're less confident in others. I'm a little bit more Zamir White runs the table, but I look. You look at the receivers. I think receivers are gonna take a little time. I think the receivers, and we're gonna get to that. I think running backs and tight ends, I think they're gonna eat early.
Yeah. I'm with Dre for sure. He says that's possible. It is. It really is. I'm not saying 100%. It's not.
100%.
And I would be hella excited if that happened. But we're taking the bets here. This is a bet.
He's number 89. It reminded me of when the Raiders got Amari Cooper, and I remember watching that first preseason game against the Cardinals where they just threw to Amari Cooper like 15 times in like a quarter, and it was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then he got rocked by Pac-Man Jones week 1. I remember, and then like week 2 against the Ravens, he had that huge touchdown. It was like, whoa! It was like, whoa! We have like a special player, and I think, look, maybe this is week 1. Maybe Bowers isn't. Maybe hopefully he doesn't get rocked by like Derwin James or something. But
yeah,
I think he is like an Amari Cooper type guy for the Raiders, but honestly better. I think he's a better player. I do. It's just I'm concerned. I was stoked. I reacted to it live on this channel. I was happy.
Yeah. 100%, man. All right. Next up, Devonte Adams. Right. So Adams be at 6.5 receptions, 70.5. Anytime touchdown plus 205, which I think is a little high. And 100 plus yards plus 220.
Bad odds.
What are your thoughts?
I don't like any of these.
You don't like any of them?
Anytime TD for 2 plus 205 is not good. I think that's in the past game they're gonna try to stop him over anybody, and I don't like any of these. And I'm not a guy that thinks Devonte Adams is gonna be wearing a different uniform this year. I actually don't think they're gonna trade him, so that's not what I'm getting at. But I don't think these are very good odds. 6.5. That's okay, maybe in receptions, but like you're 7 receptions out of him, and they might just slant the coverage to him and shift the coverage to him the whole game. And this, for me, I think the Bowers, the Mayers, the Zamir Whites, I think those guys are going to benefit from that. Maybe even the Tuckers. I'm actually a no on all of these, under and no on all these. Yeah.
See, I'm with Dre for show here, where he says that don't forget the Chargers called him trash. I think he's gonna hit the over on receptions and receiving yards. I think he's gonna. It might not be that much over, but I think we're gonna see like an 8-101. This is my personal opinion. I don't think he's gonna score a touchdown though. So I think I'm gonna stay away from the touchdown. But I do think he's gonna be a chain mover. I think Getsy's gonna know how to use him the right way, which is I'm going to get you the targets where we're doing choice routes. We're doing all those things to get you the targets with a couple of big plays and some yak in there. They said, is Asante Samuel out? Oh, you might have to change your thoughts here. Glen, if Asante Samuel,
he's out. I need to verify this.
Go ahead, verify that. So that's my thing. I think we might see like an 8-catch 101 or like a 110. It's not gonna be like the 12 or 170s that he's usually done against Chargers.
He's questionable.
He's questionable. Okay, so yeah,
So
I think that's what I think we're gonna see, like an 8 for like 110, right? A couple big plays, couple big throws in there, a couple yaks. I don't know about the touchdowns. I think they're getting the red zone. I think they're gonna try to get the ball to Zamir White and make sure they score that way. But I do think that Minshew is gonna try to get Adams in his favor a little bit. I that's what I think. I think he's going to try to get him in his favor. Like, hey, I want to get you the football, right? I understand that I need to get you the football, and that's why I think it's going to hit those overs there, right? I would say, the 100 yards, maybe if you want to do that, that's on you. But I think he hits those overs, but it might not be by that much. Like I said, I don't expect like 12 for 172, but I think we're gonna get like an 8 for like 90 at least, like 8 for 90 or like a 7 for 100 or something like that. That's what I think they're gonna get from Devonte. Because I do think he in the passing game, I think he's still gonna be the vocal point. That's why I'm a little nervous about Brock Bowers, the yards with Brock Bowers, because I don't know how many yards they're gonna try to get to him. Right.
That's true.
So that's why I think that I kind of want to take those two overs, but I understand how you feel about it. I just go with what Dre for show said too, that I think he doesn't like the Chargers. I just something about it. I don't know.
Yeah, neither do I. Great minds think alike, Devonte. Yeah. Yeah, they suck. They're actually one of the worst things. They put you on a Pop-Tart thing, dude.
Yeah.
They made Harry Potter jelly beans out of you. This is
so I really feel like he has his game circled, right? And
somebody's got to give him the ball. Somebody has to feed him the ball. That's all.
And that's the thing. But I do think Minshew's gonna try to get him on his side because I don't know, maybe Minshew heard some of his little pro Aiden O'Connell comments, but I think Minshew's gonna try to target him early, right? So that's why I'm gonna hit those overs on that one. Maybe the anytime touchdown, you might want to stay away from that. Maybe you want to hit that too as well. But I think that he's gonna hit those overs there. Just because it's the Chargers, and
it comes down to where they play him too. Are they going to put him in the slot? Are they going to give him some slot?
I hope so, man.
I think that's where if he's just true outside, to me, I'm like I think he's just going to sit out there and rot. To be honest,
I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't do. He doesn't do the Josh McDaniels thing where he tries to throw him outside. I hope that Luke Getsy's smart and plays him and uses him like the Packers did. Because, was there some big, like, if you think about it, how many 70-yard touchdowns did he have with the Packers? Mm-hmm. Not a lot. But he came to the Raiders that one year, and he was like Mr. 70-yard touchdown, right? And, he had that 1,500-yard season and all that stuff. That wasn't because he was used totally different than he was in the Packers. So I think they're going to go back to him being that guy where he's like 100 catches and getting those targets, but he's also not having as many explosive plays, but he's moving the chains. He's getting those targets. He's consistent. So I think that that's what's going to be the sign for him. It's just in my opinion. That's kind of how I look at it.
Well, it's interesting. It's however Getsy uses him, but I got to see a week of it before I start betting Adams.
All right. I'm with you on that. So we got one more player here, and then we get to the game line. Okay. Trey Tucker, which these are crazy too. So I had to put some of these here because I thought some of these are nuts. Like 21 yards, that's like one catch.
Yeah.
It's literally one catch, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I would take that just because it literally is one catch, right?
Yep.
And like the longest reception is crazy. Really? 15 yards? Like, did they watch the preseason? He led the preseason in yards. Even the 60-plus yards is crazy to me. Like, because that's literally two catches.
Yeah, it's good. 21.5, I love. I absolutely love the over on that. I don't think he's going to get in the end zone in this game.
Yeah.
I like longest reception. I think he gets it on one play. I think there's a 36-yard catch by Trey Tucker that happens in this game that covers those two.
Yeah.
60 plus yards is an interesting bet. I won't advise anyone to make it, but I won't hate anybody that does.
Yeah.
60 plus yards. I mean, because again, he could do that on one play. He is the if Trey Tucker looks like preseason Trey Tucker, and I will say second half of last year in meaningful games, Trey Tucker, these numbers are going to be comically high. Like these numbers are going to look stupid by the end of the year. Like he's going to have much higher props because this guy does have that. And I'm not talking about Raiders Deshaun Jackson, but like prime Deshaun Jackson's kind of. He has that trajectory, I think, as a
Yeah.
career, and he if you hear him speak, he's such a professional. Antonio Pierce said he was the guy that is expected to take the biggest leap, and I think that looks right. And I also think he has an opportunity to have some good underneath stuff. I think he's really good about kind of like coming back to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's starting to get really good at that. So he has an opportunity to steal some yards there. I like the over on receiving yards and I like the over on longest reception. And again, I salute you if you take the 60 plus yards, and I hope you hit it. And I think it's
You have a
great odds.
chance.
I think you have a great chance at that. Anytime TD, I think, is the one I'm gonna stay away from, though. Even though it's
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
odds, it's good odds. It's good odds, but I'm gonna stay away from
The 21 yards is crazy. I'm sorry. That's literally one catch. It's literally he could have he could have two catches for 60
Right.
yards.
Right.
But that's the thing. Like, even if you do the 60 plus yards, that's two catches. He doesn't need that many targets to get those yards.
Uh-huh.
Right? That's two catches. He could have two 30-yard catches, right? Man, I don't know. It's gonna be
Pretty
tough
good.
because even just talk about also teams are reasons how fast he is. That's the thing too, because if they get one catch, they back up. That opens up everything for Bowers and Adams and Myers, right? So, man, it's gonna be super crazy if you take that plus 900. I could really see you hitting that because that is just it's nuts. I don't know what they were watching. I mean, maybe it's a Jacoby Myers type of thing, and they're thinking like Jacoby Myers can do this, but it's literally one catch. The 21.5 is literally one catch.
Yeah, it's one catch, and I think Minshew really established a rapport with him.
Yeah, it's literally one catch. This is crazy shit. Because this question: what is more likely, 160-yard catch or two 30-yard catches? I mean,
I would say the 230s.
230s, right? You might get
240s.
240s.
60 yards is a lot, and I still don't think Tucker's a yak guy. I think Tucker's a get by you and keep going.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know that Tucker is the underneath kind of create after the I don't think he's a Rashee Rice. I think he's and again, I've comped him to prime Deshaun Jackson. I'm just saying I think he's able to win deep in a way that like only those type of guys that upper echelon of deep threats is able to. I do see it, and he got his body in shape. I know there were some questions about his hands in training camp, but I saw him make some incredible catches in preseason, and I think when you take a bet like that, you have all game to have it hit. All game, you're waiting for that one play. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure, dude. It was just crazy to me to watch to read that. All right, so let's get to the game line, man. Let's get to the game line. Spread -3 is Chargers. Money line Raiders plus 130. LV minus 155. LAC over under 39.5.
So I think I'm gonna piss a lot of fans off with this. The Raiders have the Raiders won a game at SoFi? They've won one, right? Was
2020.
That was when Isaiah Johnson had the breakup.
Yeah.
That part's weird. I know the Raiders have a home crowd there, but they like suck against the Rams there. Baker Mayfield, don't have to bring that up again. Sorry, but don't need to bring that up. That part's the weird part to me is they just like don't win at that stadium, and I think they're gonna lose this game and then beat the Ravens. That's like the way I see the season. I know I talked about all this and that. I don't think they're gonna win this game, and I think fans are gonna go crazy, and then I think they're gonna beat the Ravens, and then fans are gonna like be back. That's gonna be my take on that. The over under is really low. I like the over in that. I do think there's going to be some points scored, more points scored than people want to admit in this game. 39.5 points for an NFL game is really low. I know over unders hit the first or unders hit a lot more the first 4 weeks of the season, and I would trend under in a lot of the higher amount of point totals. I would trend under in that, but I'm just saying there's a weird thing about this team in this stadium that they don't win a lot of games in, and I will say Harbaugh is going to bring physicality to that team. There's going to be an uptick in physicality. I'm not trying to discredit our guys, but then with no Koonce, but if they get blown off the ball and the preseason run issues are an issue, I have a tough time taking the Raiders in this game.
Yeah. To be honest, how I feel about this game, I think the Raiders win this game.
Okay.
I don't know. I just have a feeling. I don't know why. I have a feeling. But I do have a weird feeling about that Ravens game too. There's something weird about that game. I don't know what it is. They don't have anybody who could block Christian Wilkins. That Ravens game, we'll talk about that next week. That Ravens game is just a little weird. After watching it watching them play the Chiefs, it's a weird game.
It's a better matchup. And the Raiders just like go crazy against the Ravens. Like the last, they've kind of have owned them secretly in like the last decade. Not decade. I'll say like 7-8 years. Like,
it's weird.
They play like really high scoring, like theatrical like games, but like they score points on them like pretty reasonably. And then the Chargers, they seem to split every single year. And people say you can't take history as a bet. That's literally what you do when you bet, is you bet on history. They don't win at the stadium. I don't bet on it. I will be sitting there in my Michael Mayer jersey, rooting for every play. If I'm a betting man, and I'm not taking the spread, by the way, I'm not touching the spread. I don't like it at all. I think this is these are two complete unknown teams right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not touching it. The over under, I like the over though.
Because I just think that if the Raiders can stop the run, I mean, that's what they got to focus on. If they can't stop the run, they're gonna lose this game. That's really what it is. I mean, if they play run defense like they did in preseason, this game is really, it's out of hand, right? They might never have the ball. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of thing. So they have to stop the run. But I don't know. I just have a feeling that they're gonna kind of, I think that the camaraderie of the team, they're gonna be able to go and win this type of game, just because I think on paper they're better than the Chargers, right? I still believe that.
I agree.
On paper, I think they're better than the Chargers. And I understand your point too, because every single game that they go play the Chargers, they end up losing, but they do only end up losing by like a touchdown, right?
True.
So that's the thing. But I do like the Raiders winning this game. I do have a feeling that they can maybe get rid of it, but I understand your viewpoint, Bo. If you're a betting man and you're gonna go off history, it's probably the Chargers. But man, it's gonna be interesting. But this is the thing: if they beat the Chargers, man, I just feel like that Ravens game, watching it, because Lamar Jackson was running for his life, and if he didn't play, a lot of people were getting on him because he missed those throws at the end of the game. But if he didn't play half the way as well as he played that game,
I agree.
That game was not close.
No, I agree. Right? He kept them in. But that is what Lamar is. It's like Lamar is he's like a Russell Westbrook in a way, where it's just like he's the reason you're in the game, but he's kind of the reason you lose. And that's the problem with Lamar. It's like everybody's right about him. Everybody.
Yeah.
The people that hate him are right. The people that love him are right. Yeah. And, that's just kind of the Lamar Jackson experience. He really is the Michael Vick experience, like that commercial, like where you're just like strap in. You're like, here we go. He kind of is that.
Yeah.
So that's that. But the Raiders have played him pretty well his career. So I don't know. It's weird.
They have.
Yeah. Yeah. And with Herbert, they split. They just seem to split every single year with Justin Herbert. So
that is fucking true. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so let's get to these week 1 spreads, and then get the college and get the hell out of here. So Rams versus Lions. What are your thoughts on this one? We got
I like the Rams covering a lot in this game. I think the Rams are really good. And now their defense is interesting. They have 11 really young players on defense. They're missing Aaron Donald. I think they're factoring that in a lot. But I think their offense is awesome. I think McVay with Stafford this long, Puka Nacua, Cup. The Lions cannot cover anybody. That's just that's the thing about the Lions. They do not have a secondary. And you have Cam Sutton, who's suspended, I think, and they don't have a lot of that. Kyron Williams is really good. They drafted Blake Corum. I think they're gonna win this game, but I would take the points to be conservative.
Yeah, I like the Lions in this game just because they're at home.
Yeah,
I think they're at home. This could make a big difference.
And there's also revenge. There's a Rams. There's a revenge playoff thing happening here too, in my opinion.
Or maybe Stafford's going back again, but the Rams, they got really hot last year, and Stafford kind of played out of his mind a little bit last year, a little bit too. But I really do think the Lions it's just because they're at home and they're going to be jumping and it's going to be crazy in there. And but I'm gonna take the under in this game though. I don't know if it's gonna be 52 points. I don't think they're gonna put points.
I agree. My dad thinks it's gonna be a shootout. He's a Rams fan, but he thinks it's gonna be a shootout. I disagree. I actually think it's gonna get kind of ugly.
Because what was the playoffs? Was 24-23 last year? So I'm taking that under. I'm taking that under.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Jets versus 49ers.
Niners to me. I think the Niners are healthy now. I think signing Trent Williams, he'll come out there and play. I think people are totally underestimating game shape with Trent Williams. If he's able to go out in a football field and play, he's going to change the game. Now, without Trent Williams, I think the Jets were going to swarm them defensively, but the Niners got everyone back. They do this every single year. There's all these contract things, and they all end up getting signed somehow. But I think the Niners are going to win. Everybody's like super high on Breece Hall this year. If you have a fantasy draft, he's a top 5 pick every year. I think the Niners are going to have something for him, and they're going to make Rodgers throw a bunch. There's going to be a big thing about, and Rodgers back in the Bay Area is always weird too. Like he just doesn't play well against them that much. And I actually think that I'm not touching the over under. I don't have a real gauge on that. But I definitely think the Niners cover the spread. I think they win by a touchdown.
See, I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna go Jets here. I think the Jets at least cover, right? Just because I think the Niners are gonna be rusty because Christian McCaffrey didn't play all camp, Brandon Ayuk didn't play all camp, Trent Williams didn't play all camp. I think they're gonna be rusty, and they're gonna be. I even think they're gonna get off to a slow start.
Okay,
and then catch up later on. So that's what I think about the Niners. That's why I like the Jets. Also, my sneaky MVP pick is Aaron Rodgers. I just have sneaky MVP. I'm just saying. Somebody said, "What's the over/under?" He gets injured, but I don't know, man. If he doesn't,
they did a nice job shoring up the tackles too. They did a really nice job shoring up. He definitely could have that Peyton Manning kind of like crazy Peyton Manning season. He absolutely could have.
Yeah, for sure, man.
No, I agree. I just think he has that weird relationship with the Niners where it's just they're his daddy. They're his daddy. Yeah, I mean, they just are, and I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball against them. And I still don't love their pass catching group. I like Garrett Wilson a lot. Other than that, you attack the Niners through their secondary if you have time, but they just don't have those horses. I don't think in the receiving core.
Yeah, too much Alan Lazard. I agree with that.
I agree.
All right, Cards versus Bills. This is an interesting one.
This is a really crazy game. Like I think this is the sneaky crazy game. I like the Cardinals covering.
Me too. I do.
Dude, I think the Cardinals are going to surprise people this year. I think they're going to be the Arena League football team this year that is like 52-49 games all year. I don't think they have a defense at all. I know Jonathan Gannon gets guys playing hard, but I just don't think they have the talent. I think Jonathan Gannon got laughed at last year as a coach, but I think he's actually good. But I think Murray in that, I forget who Drew, what's his name? The coordinator for
Drew Petzek.
I like his offense. I like his offense a lot. I think everyone's going to key in on Marvin Harrison. It's going to be the big guy, but Trey McBride is a beast. And I think James Conner is going to get that. I think people are getting on me because I didn't say it last time. The Bills are going to suck this year, in my opinion. And Josh Allen's going to want to leave. And he's going to want to come
they,
out west. He's going to want to come out west to the desert.
This is the start of the manifestation, bro, right here. This game.
Yeah, I think they're going to suck. I think they're going to go 7-10 this year and not be good. And I think it's going to be really theatrical. It's going to have a lot of collapses. They have Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman as their wide receivers. James Cook is the running back. He's pretty good, I guess. But their offensive line is and I don't think their defense is that good. They lost Matt Milano already, I think. I don't think their defense is very good. So I could see the Cards covering this game. I would not take them to win outright. I think they're gonna cover in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. Matt Collins.
Yeah. So those are your 3 wide receivers. Like that. If Josh Allen does do well, he's gonna win the MVP this year. If you think he's gonna, persevere through all that stuff, then take the MVP future on him, because I don't think his team's any good, and I think Sean McDermott's a shitty coach. Like I don't think he's good. His defense is, man. I'm telling you, when teams are expected to be good for a long period of time and they never get it done, there's always a meltdown. And I think this year is the Bills' meltdown. I'm always jokingly saying the Josh Allen manifestation thing. I do think the Bills are just going to suck. That's like my serious opinion. And I think the Cardinals are going to shock some teams this year in terms of how good they are on offense, and they're going to be frustrating as hell on defense if you're a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And I like the over. I think September in Buffalo should be nice weather, probably a little hot, to be honest. And I think that ball's gonna be flying out of people's hands. Yeah,
they're gonna run the ball all over them. I think the Cardinals' run game is crazy. They got James Conner, they got Kyler Murray, and I think they even got they might have cut Michael Carter or something like that. But yeah, the run
Trey Benson, dude. They got Trey Benson.
Yeah. Texans versus Colts. What are you thinking?
I think this has an opportunity to be game of the day. I mean, it's you have Anthony Richardson against CJ Stroud. I actually think the Colts have a chance to. The Texans have this hype, man, and it's warranted. I think they have a really good roster. Getting Danielle Hunter, I believe they got another good defensive end. I think he's suspended, not playing in this game. I can't remember who it is.
Yeah,
I forget, but he's suspended for this game, so it doesn't matter. But Danielle Hunter, D'Amico Ryans, CJ Stroud, Stephon Diggs. Maybe that doesn't gel right away early. I actually think the Colts are going to be. I took a future out on the Colts to win this division. Actually, it's not because I love Anthony Richardson. I think they're going to be. Flacco's going to play a few games this year, but I just think that they were plus 320 when I took them to win the division. I just think the Colts are a scrappy franchise, and I like Shane Steichen a lot. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to have a nice bounce back year. And, with Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, I think they're going to get stuff done. And I think the Texans are going to start a little slower than people think. And I think they're going to hit an absolute runway. They're going to take off later in the year. I think they're going to be that type of team. I like the over in this game. I think this is going to be a shootout.
All right, cool. I don't know. I do like the Colts, though. I do like the Colts. I just think the Colts have a better coach. I'm not gonna lie.
Agreed.
All right, let's get this college football, man, because this is a long show today.
We're going long. We're
going long.
This is like Christmas Eve,
right? But we got 3:15 in here. This football's getting about to end, so people are very expressed coming at the end of here. But so college football. Not a lot of great matchups here, but a couple. So we got Texas versus Michigan. What do you think about this one? I think Michigan's gonna win this game. I don't know why. I just have a feeling like they didn't play well last week, but Texas going to Michigan.
Yeah,
it's not like they're playing in Texas. They're going to.
Is that
Michigan.
line correct? That Texas is minus.
Yeah, it's
-7?
It's -7
at Michigan.
At Michigan.
Yeah, so I'm Michigan. Take the points if you're conservative. I like Michigan money line personally. Like I think Michigan's gonna play their style of football. I think Sharon Moore is still kind of a Harbaugh kind of disciple in a sense. I think they're gonna play a Harbaugh style of football. I actually like the over in this game a little bit. 41.5 I think is low. I think Michigan's gonna have some big rushing plays. There's a big thing about Michigan's quarterback. They don't know who's playing, but that There's a reason people had questions about JJ McCarthy. It's still not really about the quarterback at Michigan. They're going to play that style of football. I think Texas still has that Texas weakness where they're just kind of soft. They're not that tough team that, people pretend they are just because there's a Longhorn skull somewhere. And I think Michigan's going to win this game.
Oh, Jordan Love's hurt. What happened?
Uh-oh. That's not good.
Oh, man. He said Jordan Love is down.
Major pain.
Major pain.
Damon Wayans, dude. Yeah, that's crazy. That sucks. I hope I'm not watching, so hopefully, I will wait, but I will not get a Peacock subscription, no matter what anyone tells me to do.
You're refusing. Huh? You're refusing.
Dude, I paid almost $500 for Sunday ticket, and you're telling me I can't watch this game? That's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Oregon versus Boise State. I don't know. Oregon's weird, but I feel like they're going to bounce back this week and kind of.
This is the classic. The reason I suggested this game. This is the classic. Well, Oregon looked bad against Idaho last week. They're going to go insane on Boise State. Boise State is a running back team. So if Oregon goes up 17-0 in the first quarter, what's Boise State's run game? And I think Oregon's going to cover big time. They're going to absolutely just tear up Boise State. And I would take Oregon in the points.
Oh, man.
Love is really hurt. It sounds like this sounds like Derek Carr on Christmas Eve. Bad. That's sad.
It's bad.
I'm not. I don't mean that in a joking way. It just seems like everybody is. Oh man.
Yeah, it got real quiet on Twitter. I saw that. Everybody's like, oh, that's awful.
Hey,
it might just be high.
You don't want to see that.
It might just be a high ankle sprain though.
But even then, that's out for a couple of weeks. That's bad. But
Josh Jacobs talk all
come
that shit.
On, guys, don't make the Raiders need to win games because then you start chasing players that used to play for your team on other teams, and that's not good. There's no draft pick attached to him.
Yeah,
come on. Yeah.
All right, NC State versus Tennessee. So this is an interesting one.
I think Tennessee's really good. I think the SEC is like wide open. I don't think even Georgia is as good as people say they are, and I think Tennessee's really good. I think they're going to give a lot of teams a lot of trouble. I think the under is going to hit in that game because I actually think Tennessee's going to play a little defense in this game, and I would take the points. I know it's a weird number. 8.5 is a very strange number. You can never really they have to be winning by like 30 for you to kind of say the bet's locked in. But I like Tennessee a lot in this game. I think that quarterback, man, he is a beast for Tennessee. He's young. I need to learn his name. But I watched him a little bit, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like I forgot his name, but yeah, he looked pretty damn good. Yeah, Tennessee offense is weird, but yeah, it's bad. Somebody said you could see a snap on the replay. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. That's terrible, and I'll be praying for him because that's terrible. That's terrible, and especially with you're like. I don't want to say this, but you're in Brazil when that happens too. That
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Terrible field too. It's a shitty ass field.
Yeah, I don't. It's no, and just like you feel like something bad really happened to you, and you're not even in the United States.
Why are they playing in Brazil?
Yeah, I'm done with the globalization of the NFL. It's an American sport. Let's keep it here.
Stick to London. You know what I mean?
I don't even like that. Go play in Nebraska, bro. Go play in Idaho. Go play in a cornfield like the Major League Baseball does. That would be sick. This is our sport. This is an American sport invented here. Stop showing it to Brazil.
Fucking Brazil, they're not going to stop liking their own football. What is it?
Josh Jacobs might have 3 more kids on the way because of this weekend. By the way, I'm just going to tell you guys that much. That dude, he got down. Yeah, in Brazil. Yeah, there is no chance that didn't happen, dude.
That's probably why he started off slow.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, whoa,
long night.
My legs
long night.
Toast. Yeah.
Oh man. All right, Colorado versus Nebraska. Shador Sanders versus Mahomes clone, the Mahomes stand.
Yeah, I like Nebraska in this game. I don't think Colorado's good. I just
don't think so?
No, I don't think they're good.
I don't. Clone Mahomes just bothers me, so I want him to lose because
I'm
he
with you.
bothers the hell out of me.
I'm with you. We
He
can't be doing
bothers me.
this. We can't be doing the clone Mahomes
Be
while
yourself,
Mahomes is
bro.
yeah, exactly. No, I agree. And that's a freshman thing. He's young. He might look back on that as like dumb, but we got to give these guys time. These are young men. Like they do
Okay.
dumb things. You're in the Midwest. There's a lot of corn happening. Kansas City. You're like, wow, that's crazy. This guy's really good. I'm gonna be just like him. I like the over though. I think there's gonna be some points scored for sure. I think it's gonna be like a 40-27 game. And but I think Nebraska is gonna be I think Nebraska's gonna get it done. I think they're good. I think Matt Rule's gonna do a nice job there, and I think they're gonna be a ranked team, relatively soon.
Yeah, because Colorado, they really struggled in North Dakota State, and I don't know
That's
how
what I
good North
mean.
Dakota State is. And I thought Shedeur Sanders played really well, and he probably will play well this
It's
game.
not about him. It's not about him.
It really isn't.
Yeah, it's as much as everybody wants to put this on Dion and Shedeur. It's like there's so many other people on that roster that just like they're having trouble tackling like D2 slot receivers. And it's just like, that's my problem. It's like Nebraska, for everyone wants to laugh about Nebraska, the Scott Frost, Nebraska type stuff. They have Matt Rule now, who is a very good coach at Temple. And I think they got their quarterback there that is probably pretty good. Despite the cringe. Despite the cringe.
He went to Chandler High School.
Oh, did he?
That dude, yeah. So he is he's pretty damn good. I'm not saying that he's not great. I just think he's a little weird. I think he's a little weird guy. But he has a lot of talent. Cannon. But I think Shedeur is going to show out. I'm gonna take the spread. I'm gonna take Colorado on the spread. I don't know if they're gonna pull the game out though. But the thing is with Shedeur Sanders, and I'll give him this: like when he plays the best is when they're down and it's like 2 minutes left. That's when he is at his best. So we'll see how this game goes, man. But I think that I would take the spread though. I'm gonna take Colorado on the spread.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, that's it, guys. Our first show. We almost went 2 hours today, but that's
almost.
All right, man. Almost. You guys got stuck with us. We actually gained followers after watchers after this game was over. Probably because of the other game. And so I know next Friday you guys could be joining us early. I know you watched some football this week. Not football every Friday. This is a special week. I get it, but we appreciate you guys coming and joining us. We got 350 in here right now. So appreciate you guys watching this. Let me get this thing off, man. I'm just gonna leave it on the brain here. But appreciate you guys watching us and enjoying the channel. We are out of here. Like I said, we're gonna do the instant reaction on Sunday. I don't know, Glenn, if you could be joining for instant reaction. I don't know if you're ready for that yet. It's
yeah. I don't know if I'm ready for that either.
It's intense.
I'm questioning. Put a Q next to me if I'm on your fantasy team for that. Game time decision kind of thing. Trainers massaging my ankles, kind of seeing what they can do.
Yeah.
I think Matt is very level-headed. I am not.
He's way more level. I'm the crazy one on this reaction show. I mean. That's very level-headed. He keeps his emotions down. My emotions are still up. So so if me and you on there, is going to take it to another level.
For content, maybe people want that. I don't know, but
maybe they do.
I will be a game time decision, post game decision. Yeah,
man. Yeah. So we're out of here, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming in here. I know some of you guys came here late after the game. I don't understand that, but join us next week. We'll be doing the same thing, looking at over-unders and stuff like that. I really appreciate you guys doing that and joining us. And we're out of here. Peace out. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Peace.
All right.